I was completely, it was, you were gonna email it to us.
Yeah. Was it the beacon thing?
Yes.
Oh, guys.
Well, that takes care of that.
I didn't really find anything, other than, we can ask council to go ahead and transfer it to redevelopment. I think that's what you guys passed, right?
I gotta say, that's what kicked on before and shut it down.
Well, I told it not to.
Paul, you been down there to Greg's restaurant yet? It's pretty good, isn't it? That's what Roxanne had, and she liked it a lot. Huh? Yeah. I had the chicken, it was pretty good too.
I enjoyed you could breathe in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you could. Hey, Tom, you make a call over at 7136. Remind me to do that.
But it's on there.
If you guys go with the sign grant program, I just did a resolution to do that, so that's a copy. This has a copy of the guidelines attached to it, so there's a copy for you.
I seen they changed that stuff.
Yes, I made changes.
We own 100% ownership of the bracket and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any liability going on?
It has to be an insured contractor that installs it.
I haven't even been in the restaurant that's in the hotel.
I haven't either. I haven't been over there since me and you went over that time.
Yeah, I've been over there.
That's the last time I've been there too. It was pretty busy. Look, it was busy over there on Saturday. I seen people.
Well,
That's
one
why
thing I
I
don't,
put
I haven't been in
wasn't
it,
sure.
you know,
Wasn't it
the
25,000?
restaurant inside the hotel.
20,000 or something?
I can't remember the
But
total. It's
they've got some little
2,500
chairs
up to
out front.
2,500 to
You know,
sign.
out on the side
I
levee.
don't remember the total I
Yeah,
wanted
you
to ask
should, I
for.
think you're supposed to be over from the levee and inside
As far as
from the entrance.
how much money
Okay,
though?
is that how you go in?
Yeah.
You can go from different
Just
directions. 'Cause
driving
that's
by.
one of the directions you can go in.
Well,
I guess
what
that's
my
probably why
point
Greg's
is,
here
I
though.
can't believe they didn't make more use out of that river view.
I
You
think
know,
there's
or they-
75 seats out there or something. They're supposed to.
Well, they're going to?
Yeah.
Oh,
Greg, how many outside seating does the Levy Restaurant have up there? Up to 75 or something?
that's nice up there. Please?
I'm afraid.
People walking up or walking away?
We did enough.
You might have people trying to walk back and forth between restaurants. There's that, oh Lord. She ever goes, I like her, I don't know who she is. But I do. Who is it? I'll find out. You just tells it like it is. Oh, okay. I really like her. Oh. Two squirrels next door to me.
Yeah.
And I gotta, they happen to be pets.
One
Neighbor,
nut. You're way down there.
They run my yard.
Aren't this is where I'm supposed to sit? Matter?
I ain't caught too many squirrels in one
Oh, good. Big. Keeps me busy.
Al Roger, the guy was my neighbor
putting the bone out.
Had these two little squirrels, they eat out, yeah, they're
Yeah.
cute. But I had 19 tomato plants and never got one. They just take right out of
We're ready?
had about 20 plants.
Call the March 9th Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Squirrels gotta go.
President Mike Lawrence,
Here.
Vice President Tom Rogers,
Here.
Secretary Tony Abbott, Board Member Donnie Bryant,
Present.
Board Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
City Attorney Leslie Votaw,
Here.
Lawrenceburg School Board Member Patrick Meyer. Absent.
Has the board had a chance to review the minutes of the previous meeting?
Yep.
Does anybody have any corrections or a motion for approval?
So moved.
First, do we have a second?
Second.
First and a second for approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Announcements. Our next regular meeting will be April the 13th at 5 o'clock. Find the financial.
It's in the back.
I think there is a financial. Unless it was mixed up in the claims.
I don't believe we have a
There isn't
financial
one.
report.
I didn't think so. We'll give a financial report at the next meeting as it's not in the packet. Move on to new business, Leslie Votaw, Blade Sign Grant.
And actually, I think Mr. Krantz would like to, these guidelines were presented to, the Board of Works and City Council, and they voted to, with a favorable recommendation, to pass them on to redevelopment tonight. I did prepare a resolution if the board so deems that they want to go through with the program as outlined.
Eric Kranz, Dearborn County Chamber of Commerce. Just real briefly, the program is designed to provide a matching grant to Lawrenceburg businesses that wish to put up a blade sign or a perpendicular sign to their building, which was part of the proposal from the Hyatt Palma consulting agency to add character to downtown, essentially, and to make our businesses more visible while driving and walking. So we put together a proposal based on sort of other communities, and what it would be is matching grant up to $2,500 or a signed total of $5,000. The process is laid out in the application that you've received. Essentially what we'd like to see is the businesses go through the normal city approval process and then come to the Lawrenceburg Partnership Group where we will approve or deny their grant application. From there, a member of that committee will come to you for disbursement of those funds. So what we would like is a $25,000 set aside for that grant by the commission.
And I would like to thank you for making those corrections.
Did we hit all of them for you?
Appreciate that. Any questions from the board?
Why 25,000?
We have right now 6 or between 4 and 6, I don't know off the top of my head, businesses that are interested. So just kind of, it's a rough estimate, to be perfectly honest. We're not sure the interest that will exist. So, you know, first run, that seems like a good round number.
Can we get it back if there's no interest?
We're not taking it out. It would just be, as far as I understand, a line item, right? And we'd come here for disbursement at each.
You come here for disbursement.
For each grant.
Oh.
So we're not asking for any lump sum.
Okay.
Just that you have it allocated in the budget.
I'd so move to put 25,000 in a line item for this project.
Second.
I have a first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And actually, we just want to go ahead and do this resolution, which would adopt the guidelines and the 25,000 them right in here.
So move.
This, resolution that's attached here tonight is the same one as at the last council meeting?
The resolution's not, but the
The
guidelines.
attachment, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
the attachment, we did make some changes according to you guys' comments.
Okay.
The main thing was, just to point out to the board, on page 4, the second paragraph, we did put in there that basically these, businesses had to be in Lawrenceburg for a total year, 1 year from the date of the approval of the sign grant. If not, they could be liable for reimbursement of the total cost of the sign grant.
Could be or will be.
It understands that it may be liable. I mean, that would be up to, I mean, that would be up to this board.
I think we need to draw a line one way or the other. We would always get in problem when we got these maybes and.
Make it shall be. Might want to make a motion for that correction.
I'm
It's
so
a
moved for
sentence that
that
says
motion.
that. What-
It's on page 4 of Exhibit A. It's in the second full paragraph. It starts out with deviation. What I added was the second sentence, which says, in addition, the applicant must verify and understands that it may be liable for reimbursement of the total cost of the sign grant if the business for which the sign grant is issued under these guidelines do not remain in business in Lawrenceburg for a total 1 year from the date of the approval of the sign grant.
Can we just, instead of maybe, put is?
Well, would be shall, I think.
Okay, shall.
Right, Leslie?
That'd be
Somebody want
fine.
to make a motion?
I'd make that motion. You know,
Second.
we need to have it one way or the other. It's getting too
Have
many.
a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I will go ahead with Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission resolution. This would be number 1, 2015. A resolution regarding a blade and sign grant program in conjunction with the Lawrenceburg Downtown Partnership Committee. Whereas the Lawrenceburg Downtown Partnership Committee, formed to promote downtown Lawrenceburg, has presented a blade sign grant program to the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission, hereinafter commission, intended to stimulate improvements to the exterior of downtown commercial buildings. And whereas the commission wishes to implement said program according to the guidelines attached here too, with common council's approval, and wishes to fund said program. Now therefore it be resolved by the Redevelopment Commission of the City of Lawrenceburg, Dearborn County, Indiana, that 1, the guidelines for the Blade Sign Grant Program sponsored by the Lawrenceburg Downtown Partnership Committee, which are attached here too and designated as Exhibit A, are hereby adopted. I'll make sure that this is the one that is done, has the changes in it. Number 2, the commission hereby approves funding to the Lawrenceburg Downtown Partnership Committee in the amount of $25,000 for the Blade Sign Grant Program administration. Number 3, the Lawrenceburg Downtown Partnership Committee shall make a report to the commission on a quarterly basis of the progress of said program, including but not limited to the recipients of the grants and the amounts of the grants. Passed by the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission, Dearborn County, Indiana, this 9th day of March, 2015.
I make a motion to pass it with the correction of shall added in there where we ask.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Sign that one there then.
Just have that correction. Did you I'm on initial each page. That's all right.
I think he would just sign as a member.
Well, he's the secretary, isn't he?
No, actually Tony is.
Okay. Member.
I'll sign there. I changed the logo. county sign. There's another copy if you could sign it for me. Thank you.
We'll move on to old business. Mike Clark, map approvals, Lawrenceburg Downtown Entertainment District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your packet, you've got a couple maps in there. Just to go through them on the two-page set. The first page is labeled as existing/current. That is it's the same area that our TIF area is. That area is already approved as the Lawrenceburg Downtown Entertainment District Economic Development Area. Through the study that we had done and with the partnership group, we've come up with an area, we previously referred to it as the Entertainment District. For legal purposes, we will now refer to that as the Lawrenceburg Riverfront Development Area. And there's a separate sheet that shows that area. What I need from this board tonight is to basically approve the map that shows adding that newly or proposed riverfront development area to the Downtown Entertainment District Economic Development Area, and that's what's on sheet number 2. And I know this is the same thing that we've brought to this board a couple of times in the past. We're finally getting to the point to go through the formal process. So tonight, if I could get certification and board approval for the new Lawrenceburg Downtown Entertainment District Economic Development Area, or expanded area, I would greatly appreciate that. If you do certify it tonight, then I can present it Wednesday night to the Plan Commission to get their certification, and then we go back to you guys and then back to council to finish it all off.
This won't affect the TIF area, will it? The expansion?
No, not at all.
No. But the recommendation was to go ahead and expand the area that we do have instead of doing a whole new area.
Any other questions? What would the board like to do?
I don't have a 2.
Do you need a proposal on both maps or both?
No, the only one is on the second sheet. I'll just give you the other map just to show you how we expanded from what it was originally to what the proposed area expansion
I'd like
is.
to make a motion, we approve the Lawrenceburg Riverfront Development Area map.
Actually, it's the Downtown Entertainment District
Okay.
Economic Development Area map.
Okay, make a motion to approve the Lawrenceburg Downtown Entertainment District, Lawrenceburg Riverfront Development Area.
Let me ask.
You wanna-
But you're getting closer, but it's,
Somebody else try.
It's Lawrenceburg Downtown, it's right here, Ed, right here,
In the corner.
in the corner.
Oh, okay, wrong map.
There you go.
I'll try again.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I got one question. Are we going across the levee on this? It don't look like it's going across the levee.
no, it's going from the center of the levee.
How come we don't go on across then while we're at it and put that area in?
Because if we go to the wet side, then we pull the riverfront development area back towards the river. The Indiana statute only allows 1,500 feet or 3 blocks away from the river, but they do give you the option that if you have riverfront area that floods, you don't have to start your measurement until you get to a point where it doesn't flood, so it can be utilized. So by going from the center of the levee, we get to go further north on our other map to
What
cover
happened-
more of Walnut Street.
What happens when
Just a
we
minute.
just-
Can you let the record show that Mr. Abbott come in? Sorry, guys, I was late from work.
Yeah.
Thanks.
what happens when we start developing that area? We gonna have to go through all this again?
It depends on what you're doing, Donnie. I mean, I can't speak to that at this time. Right now, I know and this was in cooperation, working with the downtown committee on this, to come up and to get as far north on Walnut Street as possible, I think was one of the concerns.
Well, Mike, looking at this, we've only took in 2 blocks over here in the area where we're really concerned, where the,
No, you gotta look at the next page. What you're looking at is already in, Donnie. Yeah, the same area as the TIF.
yeah, but over here's where we're,
Says existing.
this area here where the little chicken house and all
Well,
that.
the riverfront area, as long as it supports the TIF area, we can get the monies off of that riverfront development. Is that correct?
Still get it? Okay.
Proposed area expansion.
And Tom, when you make your motion again, will you add that the drawing dated February 2015?
Okay.
Oh, boy, you're gonna make it hard.
Mike, I do want to make a comment that this is not the recordable plat that we're going to have to
I
get
just want-
recorded, but,
So if anybody was to have both, have
oh,
their hands.
okay, okay.
Right there.
This one here.
All right, one more time. The map, Lawrenceburg Downtown Entertainment District Economic Development Area, February 2015, correct?
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
First and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, Mike, can you get with me after the meeting to sign off on the recordable map?
Yes, sir. We'll move.
I'm sorry, Tony, while you're gone, before you came in, they did go ahead and pass a resolution on the Blade Sign Grant Program. I don't know if you are, if you are supposed to attest their signatures tonight, which I'm gonna have you do, but I'm not gonna have you sign as a vote. Just say no. Thank you.
We'll move on to more old business, Lawrenceburg Riverfront Development Area. Mike Clark.
That should be Leslie Votel.
Yeah, this is the declaratory resolution. This declaratory resolution that's in your packets is to expand from sheet 1 to sheet 2, which is dated to February 2015. It's resolution, amending resolution number 1, 2010 of the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission entitled Declaratory Resolution of the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission. Whereas the Lawrenceburg City Redevelopment Commission adopted declaratory resolution number 1, 2010 on October 25th, 2010, which is declaratory resolution establishing the Downtown Entertainment District Economic Development Area, which is area, and the declaratory resolution was confirmed by a confirmatory resolution adopted on November 22nd, 2010, which is a confirmatory resolution. Whereas the declaratory resolution and the confirmatory resolution are hereinafter collectively referred to as the area resolution. Whereas the area resolution established an allocation area in accordance with Indiana Code 36-7-1439 allocation area for the purpose of capturing property taxes generated from the incremental assessed value of real property located in the allocation area. Whereas the area resolution approved the economic development plan, which plan contains specific recommendations for economic development in the area. Whereas the Common Council approved the creation of the area. Whereas the Commission now desires to amend the area resolution to expand the area by adding certain real property to the area set forth on the map and parcel list attached here to as Exhibit A1 and Exhibit A2 respectively. Whereas Indiana Code 36-7-14-17.5 authorizes the Commission to amend the area resolution after conducting a public hearing if it finds that, 1, the amendment is reasonable and appropriate when considered in relation to the area resolution, the plan, and the purposes of Indiana Code 36-7-14, and 2, the area resolution with the proposed amendment conforms to the comprehensive plan for the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the Lawrenceburg Redevelopment Commission that 1, the area resolution is hereby amended to expand the area by adding certain real property to the area set forth on the map and parcel list attached here to as Exhibit A1 and Exhibit A2 respectively. 2, the allocation area shall not be expanded and shall continue to maintain its original boundary and original base assessment date of March 1st, 2009. 3, the commission finds after consideration of the evidence presented that the public health and welfare and will be benefited by the amendment to their area resolution. 4, the commission now finds and determines after consideration of the evidence presented that the amendment described in section 1 above is reasonable and appropriate when considered in relation to the area resolution and the plan. The proposed amendment conforms to the comprehensive plan for the city. 5, the commission hereby finds that the property so described in Exhibit A2 attached here to is the property to be positively affected by the enlargement of the area because accomplishing the project set forth in the plan is reasonably expected to increase property values in the area. Number 6, the commission hereby finds that no additional costs will be incurred by the commission as a result of the proposed amendment. 7, the presiding officer of the commission is hereby authorized and directed to submit this resolution to the Lawrenceburg Plan Commission for its approval. 8, the commission also directs the presiding officer after receive the written order of the approval of the Plan Commission, which has been approved by the Common Council, to publish notice of the adoption and substance of this resolution in accordance with Indiana Code 5314, and to file notice with the Plan Commission, the Board of Zoning Appeals, the Building Commissioner, and any other departments or agencies of the city concerned with unit planning, zoning variances, land use, or the issuance of building permits. The notice must state that maps and plats have been prepared and can be inspected at the office of the city's Department of Redevelopment, and must establish a date when the commission will receive and hear remonstrances and objections from persons interested in or affected by the proceedings pertaining to the proposed expansion of the area, and will determine the public utility and benefit of the proposed expansion of the area. 9, the commission further directs the presiding officer to submit this resolution to the Common Council for its approval of the amendment to the area resolution. 10, in all other respects, the area resolution, the plan and actions of the commission consistent with this resolution are hereby ratified and confirmed. 11, this resolution shall be effective upon passage. Adopted at the meeting of the commission held on March 9, 2015 in Lawrenceburg, Indiana.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
First and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'll sign yours in that one, that's fine, or doesn't matter. I'll just take one, make a copy.
It's only one.
You test all of them, but
Need a date so it corresponds with what we just had.
it's attached to the
I'll sign it.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll move on to the Snaybelt letter. Leslie?
Enclosed, I did receive a letter from Tom Blondell concerning the Eric Snaybelt matter. I don't know if you had a chance to read over everything. It's a demand. I think the demand is within 30 days for $500,000. So obviously wanted to bring this to your attention. I did receive it on February 27th, or the clerk's office did.
I have a few things. According to reading through this, I guess you met with Mr. Snaybelt, Zerby, over this, and said and more or less that he was going to be getting payment to him.
What I always told them was that, and we tried to reach an agreement, was that I would bring, whatever demand they wanted us to bring to the commission, Never told them that I couldn't tell them what you guys were going to decide. So there was nothing ever by me that said, yes, this is what we're gonna pay you. Now, I did meet with the staff, and we went through all of the ones, and I believe at the time, according to, I don't know what exhibit it is, what we came up with was approximately $80,000 that we thought could be substantiated on this claim, but
Was that within the year 2010 or?
yes, I believe so. But I'm not sure, Mike. I haven't reviewed this in a while, but I do, as far as my notes, when I did meet with Mr. Zerby and Mr. Schneebelt, I did let him know these are the ones that we thought that, could be collected upon by him, so.
Well, I was just, by reviewing this letter, I mean, he's got one thing that I said from a meeting, supposedly, or whatever. But what he didn't say is some IC codes that I pointed out. So I'd like to know his comments on that. Because per IC code 36-4-8-12, you can't enter into a long-term contract. And if you do, it's void. First of all, and then, and I said this in the meeting before, you can go on down to IC code 36-4-8-13, section 2, and if you have a city official who recklessly enters into an obligation prohibited by section 12 of this chapter, commits a Class B misdemeanor, and is liable on his official bond to any person injured by his actions, which I said in a meeting, I felt that if there was fault, it would fall back on the bond. Because nowhere have I ever been showed meeting minutes where city council and redevelopment approved this contract.
No. Mr. Snaybell was hired at will, not for every property we sold.
But did you see the contract that he claims is a contract that you signed?
Yeah, I seen that. I guess you can read it that way, but that's not the,
Well,
Mr. Snaybelt knows that. When I heard of this going on, I called Mr. Snaybelt and I asked him why he would do something like that. And I said, why would you put down properties there you had nothing to do with? He just said, because my lawyer told me I had to. I said, you know you were hired at will. He goes, I know that.
Well,
And he told me the same thing, but his attorney told him to put them all down too.
oh, the section that they do bring in under, if you look at Indiana Code 24475, it has nothing to do with realtor contracts. It only has to do with wholesale sales of products. So, I have, just briefly looked into that. I do plan to do some more research into any of there weren't many cases attached to this statute either. But he has given us the 30-day thing. I don't know if what you want me, obviously, I don't think that you're gonna say, yes, we're gonna pay him within 30 days, so.
Is this 607,000 all of the property that was sold at that time? Because he was paid for every piece of property that I know of that the redevelopment had him work with.
Sold and bought. That's what he's claiming.
I mean, that'd be like being paid twice.
Well, and for instance, there was a transfer to the county of one down on West High Street, and he had listed it, but it had nothing to do with him. I mean, there was no sale or transfer that that was one of the big ones that he was trying to collect on as well.
Now, the High Street properties, did he have anything to do with that I know of? Redevelopment didn't hire him for those.
I mean, from what this stems from is the Hollywood Garage and all St. Clair, I believe, and then when the Pitcher case finally was resolved, we had all of those properties. But at any rate, at this point,
He did sell some properties on St. Clair Street, but he was paid for those when he sold them. He actually bought one of those properties we got back himself. That's where his realtor's office is now. The one on Front Street.
well, I do plan to respond to the letter. I just wanted some input from you all.
Well, I know that every property redevelopment asked him to do, he was paid for at the bank signings. I was there. He got his check and the person buying the property got their check or we got our check.
Yeah, that's another issue. If he sold these properties in 2010, then, no one waits 3 years to collect on a payment for selling a property. And six or seven of these properties on the latest thing on the back here, the commission recapitalization sheet here, I was on this board and I didn't see or hear from them involved in any property during that time.
So that includes 1, 2, 3,
6 of them.
yeah, 6 of them.
And then the newspaper article that's in here that he responded to, it says, the city of Lawrenceburg is seeking an experienced realtor to sell several parcels. It doesn't say sell several parcels for half a decade. That's,
Yeah.
Well, I'm still gonna fall back on those codes that, at the most, you can do is that year.
But 364812 doesn't, I don't think that addresses, it may not address realtor contracts. I mean, that's something
Well-
else I'll have to look into as well. Those normally are talking about, it does say services.
Yeah, and then you can go to section B, except as provided in subsection C, a city department officer and employee may not obligate the city to any extent beyond the amount of money appropriated for that department, officer and employee. An obligation made in violation of this section is void.
Well, that doesn't say that the redevelopment didn't have the appropriated money to hire a realtor.
But you can only go for your appropriations for 1 year. You can't go beyond your appropriation. You run on a 1-year appropriation.
So you're saying he should have been hired every year then?
You have to, it has to, a contract, we've been through this in city council over and over, has to say subject to appropriation.
We got him for the condos. That was about.
Yeah,
You
condos
can
and,
do a multi-year.
That was the big-
subject to appropriation.
Has to be approved each year per appropriation.
Multi-year, which would lock someone into whatever that fee or that service is, but it's subject to appropriation.
but I think in his paper, he's saying since we didn't send him a notice saying he wasn't the lawyer anymore, then he's
Realtor.
considered,
Realtor.
the realtor, then he is considered the next year too, to continue.
Well, then he said I didn't have the authority to tell him that the services were terminated either, and you all voted to do that, so there was definitely,
I don't mind paying people for the work they've done. I don't like paying people for work they did not do and didn't have anything to do with. Nor do I like to pay them twice.
And did anybody, I guess Leslie, did you ever talk to a real estate attorney about no start and end date?
oh, I mean, that was the biggest
Realtor
thing that we
contract.
talked about as far as with Mr. Zerby before Mr. Blondell got involved, was that this contract, if it is even a contract, that's how we would attack it. We would attack it that, it's vague, it has no set term, there's lots of things that could void it as a contract, including the statute that you're talking about, so.
Because some realtors have told me that, they're required by the commission that it has to have a expiration date.
Which makes sense.
Any other discussion on that? And I would like to ask if there was a further meeting in the future, that somebody from the board be present, representing the board. Move on to approval of claims once properly certified.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
First and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Comments from the audience? Tom?
Is this yours, Mike?
Tom Schneider, and I live in downtown Lawrenceburg. Maybe this isn't your, all for you, but I think that something needs to be done regarding the parking for the concerts at the casino, at the event center.
That's not this board. That'd have to go before city council. That'd have to be an ordinance. Am I correct?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll say one thing though, Tom, if there is some kind of problem like that, that's a good thing, to have a parking problem downtown. It needs to be worked out, but at least we've got people coming downtown, it shows.
Can I ask what the problem is? I don't,
Yeah, go ahead. We just can't, I mean, there's nothing this
No,
board
I'm
can
not.
do.
The problem is that you have a parking garage
Okay.
that has X amount of places, okay? The Country Western concert, they had 200 cars in the parking garage. This last weekend, they had 170. The top level of the parking garage was empty because it wasn't plowed. That predicament is one for the college. It's not necessarily the cities, but again, it is parking that people, that was not available for the customers who went to the concert. The other thing is that people parked in the alleys. They blocked the alleys. They tried to park right across from the arena, okay? There has been no police people to say, keep going. No one from the casino to say, keep going, keep going, keep going, and go in the parking garage. So we're losing money for not parking in the parking garage. And the price, which I'm not sure, but I think it's $5. Well, that is a lot less expensive than Cincinnati, because right across from their convention, it's $10. So it's not a substantial increase. So there are also 3 city-owned lots downtown, maybe 4, that no one seemed to be parking in. And when they do park in there, there's no one there taking money for parking there. Now, I know that some people think that the parking garage should be left open for anybody to park there. But these are people coming to a concert, and they know wherever they go, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, that they have to pay. And we're not making them, because there's a feeling to be afraid that they won't come back.
Well, I don't know if you was at the council meeting that, I brought something up at a council meeting that there needs to be some portable signs that tells people where to go to
There
park.
were portable signs, I'm not sure this weekend, but the previous weekend, but they didn't matter. They didn't matter, they just parked.
Well, I drove
parked it.
down here, I didn't see any. You know,
Years
'cause I
ago.
could imagine coming down here not knowing the city, where do I go?
There's 2-hour parking signs on High Street. There are no 2-hour parking signs on Walnut. And anyway, people just park there and stay there anyway. There are people who live in the apartments above, okay, that no parking. When the casino came, there was a problem with everyone who lived over on those streets. And people would put chairs out there because they would go get their groceries at Kroger's, come home, and their parking would be employees. right down here, we have employees who are working at the event center who are parking on Walnut and High Street, and they're there all day,
I didn't watch that happen.
okay?
The
They're,
only thing can be done is when they're parking in 2-hour spots, and then the police are gonna have to go around and mark tires and keep track of it, if, I mean,
well,
or,
that's some way. They finally straightened it out over in your area.
Wasn't really straightened out, Tom. We found out that it was against the law to put parking restrictions on a public road, so we couldn't enforce it. It wasn't enforceable in court. So the city
So you
council
couldn't-
voted to
couldn't
drop
ticket
that.
them.
The residential,
And
it
what
was the
happened-
residential one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened was, Hollywood built the other garage, so there's more room over there, so now everyone parks in the garage.
Well-
Now, you still have Hollywood employees that park by the park and everything,
Alright.
but accordingly to the law, you can't stop them from parking on a public street. Now, maybe we can put up 2-hour parking.
You can do, I looked on before in 2012, there are cities in Indiana that do have like, things they do like by permit only or whatever, and then they do it. You just have a pass in your window and you can, if you don't have a pass, you can't park there.
I think we need
Listen,
better signage.
I want the people down there and I want the businesses, but there's gotta be a way to meet in the middle here. And people coming for the concert, okay, we have 200-300 parking spots. And those aren't being used, so the city's losing money and they're by parking on the streets, and then the businesses aren't, their customers can't get in their shops, and something's got to be done, because I think I'm not sure which 3 days, there is, in the daytime, a home and garden show in the event center. So at that time, they're going to be parked full down there, and then people are not going to be able to go to the bank, whatever people do when they come downtown. And I think this is something that, I agree, Mike, that it's been brought up, but it's just been shuffled aside, and there's a problem. And in the summertime, you have Mike and his boat down there, so there's another problem. So all I'm saying is, for those of you who are on council, that it's something that needs to go on the agenda, and something needs to be done short term.
No, I just pulled it up on my phone, and the city of Bloomington, which is in the state, designates residential neighborhood permit parking zones. Residents in those zones may receive parking permits that allow only vehicles with permits to park on the streets. So it's legal.
That's what we did years ago, but then the lawyer at that time said,
Just
"Well,
because
really good."
somebody does it, doesn't necessarily mean that it's legal though either, Aaron.
Well,
I mean,
the difference was, we actually had individual spots designated, which were usually right in front of someone's house. With Bloomington, I mean,
I can call Bloomington. I'm sure it's legal. That's not the only one. I did research on it in 2012, and there's cities throughout the state to create the ordinances that do it. And Bloomington's a pretty big city. I'm sure they've checked into it.
Here's the one problem though, that's residential area, and we're making this our business area, so can you do it in a business area?
I don't know. I just pulled it up in 1 second, but I just know it's legal to create
One
those
thing they
zones.
could do is Hollywood could put on those tickets,
That's what I was gonna suggest.
parking in the garage.
Well, they could include the price on every ticket sold, one garage pass.
There's lots of.
some of those tickets are at will call, though.
Well,
are you saying they have portable signs that they put out that says event center parking, with the arrow?
They do have, Mike, they did go out this last week.
Because I drove down.
Yeah,
I
they
thought
went
I
out
was-
this last
They
week.
tied them onto the light posts.
I don't know if
But
it
it
was
didn't do any good, because they
I was
only
thinking
had
about them
200
fold
people
out.
there.
A-frame sandwich boards.
Yeah, 200 people there, 200 parked cars for Country Western concert, and 170 this week.
And Mike, the problem this past week, and we just opened up the top floor of the garage ourselves, I guess this afternoon?
Yeah.
Mid-afternoon, where it'd been closed due to the snow. Mike had a pretty stern conversation with the manager of the parking garage and told him that they had to start plowing, keeping that upper deck open. Which in turn also, the signage, they closed the other two lots. We're gonna have signage designated from Walnut Street, High Street to the entry of the garage. I don't know, because of the snow piles that were still left, maybe they didn't do it this last event.
I think
And there was one other complaint too. He said that the circle parking, which he called it, they were gonna use for the ADA, had all police cars in it. So I'll share that with you.
Yeah. I've seen that.
I think we need to work with the convention center on their employees also.
Yeah.
I sat down there and watched their employees tie up spots on High Street and go to work over there, 8-hour shift.
Maybe
Their website needs to be brought up to
We had a
date
discussion with Hollywood a week ago, because I think they were parked in front of Beeb's, the employees, starting at 6:30 in the morning.
That's
you
what
have
that's,
had discussion with the
Correct.
casino.
that's
And
what
I don't know
was
if
gonna
that's
say.
changed or not, John.
It's still happening. We had, there's a Aurora gas station there this week for 3 days, and they pull right up, park there, they're gone for the rest of the day.
These are actually employees we were chasing.
I mean, I don't know how else they're gonna do it besides the police mark tires, keep time limits and tow them out. I mean,
Well, a lot of people come
when
in.
you tow a few of them out,
Mike,
the water get around.
a lot of people come in town, just don't even know we got a parking garage. We need better signage, not these little ones sitting out in the middle of the street. Something a different color that stands out, that'll, guide them to the event center. A lot of people just don't even know, and they park wherever they can and head up that way.
One, the
They're not gonna
A-frame
go back.
signs, I mean, if you do put them out in the middle of the intersections at the event, it's pretty hard to miss those.
Yeah.
But they need arrows to be very specific.
Two of the events that we witnessed the signs going out, I thought they worked. The first couple events they had at the event center.
I think if you had somebody out there directing to, but they are getting down here earlier. I mean,
Right.
new restaurant opening up, they got down here about a couple hours in advance. So.
Yeah, I was there about 3 o'clock and everybody was getting there around that time. I was in Greg's eating, I seen people pulling up and.
So maybe
going in
we'll
there.
see what the council says. Maybe we need to put a little more pressure on the parking people to have some marshals out there to, say, from 4 o'clock on.
Well, the problem's only gonna get bigger as summer gets here. We need to,
But like Tony said, it's not
Come
a
up with
bad
something.
thing. We just need to learn how to deal with it.
Not only were they not following like the 2-hour parking signs, but the parking in front of yellow lines, like I couldn't even get into the alley to get to my apartment. Both sides of the alley were blocked off by people parking on yellow lines. And they happened by Books on High too, by Greg's Restaurant, they're parking on the yellow lines there. And they're 2-hour parking and there's zero enforcement on that ever. And
Well, if they're
I don't know if
parking
you
on-
guys know about your 2-hour parking signs or not, but they're not gonna stand in court because of the fact that they don't have arrows on the sides. They say 2-hour parking, it's for that spot in front of you. If you ticket the car to the left or to the right, it's a very easy argument in court, there's no arrow. So I don't know whose decision it was to put those signs up, but they're not gonna be enforced in court. And then secondly, when you enter the Ivy Tech garage, or the garage that you guys are having people park in, when you go on the front, or when you go on the floor off of Walnut Street, I went in there this past weekend during the comedian show. I counted 26 open spaces, so means about 95% occupancy on that floor. Top floor, as we stated before, was unplowed. You go down to the exit, empty, almost all empty. There was 12 cars on that floor. There's no signs on that second floor to tell you that there's parking down there. There's signs that say out, but there's nothing that says additional parking below. So if you're new to that garage, you just see an out sign. There's nothing that says there's more parking down there. So that floor was all open. So I don't know how that was done. Plus parking, as far as paying, I'm assuming that they collected before they went into the show. They had the gates open when you left. So if I was a guest at the hotel or a guest other places, I had my ticket. I didn't even have to pay to leave. So you guys just missed out on the $2 that you guys could have charged me to be in that garage because nobody was there collecting the tickets when you left. So there was no enforcement on that. The city lots, the 3 city lots, the old Humble lot, the one that was right when you leave there, and then the one that's across where Music on the River is, there was less than 25 cars on all of those. And there was 0 parking from the police station down on Walnut Street, and they're starting to park into private lots. Not this past concert, but the concert before that, when nothing was plowed in the alleys. John even had people parking in his personal parking lot behind his behind his business. There's zero enforcement to these people, and like it was stated before, there's no signs. When you're at the top of Walnut, there's nothing that says parking garage down here. So you immediately start to see these people parking and you stop there. It's $5 for an event. Like, that's so cheap. I paid $400 in parking in the month of December to park in downtown Cincinnati. $5 is drop in the bucket. So we need to have signs that say it's only $5 to park in there. You can walk right across. I'm seeing people walking in the freezing cold, bundled up to walk down there. There's no signs. So I know it's not your board, but I think it does need to be brought up and it needs to be addressed. I don't think it's a lack of parking spaces. It's a lack of proper signage to get people there and a lack of enforcement on the signs that we already have.
Thanks.
Very true.
What was that guy's name?
AJ Waltz.
Yes, AJ Walt, sorry.
Anybody else? Motion to adjourn? Have a motion, second?
Approve the payment? They
Huh?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did.
We didn't want to wake you up, Grant.
Hold on, we only got a motion, we got a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I think Tom did.
Look this up on that. I did.
You want me to bring that out, or you want to go back to my office?
Whatever you want. Okay.
You want to exercise, or you want me to get it?
All right, get it.
Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going?
I'm going down to Redevelopment.